Welcome to this series. We're gonna be making a vintage television. Obviously, you know that you saw that before coming in. Yeah, the thing is, I really like making these series. All right, wait a second. Let me adjust my gimbal. Okay, I really like making the series. All right, I mean, I made the Chanel series, and I really enjoyed making it. But the thing is, I wanted to make more, but I couldn't find something that was, a tutorial series make worthy. So I've been making some televisions for a while now, so I thought, they're actually a little challenging, if you want to know, and I think they're a pretty good model for an intermediate level. So if you're a beginner level, if you're like a beginner, maybe don't watch this. Maybe do my phone series and maybe my Chanel perfume series, and then you can come to this because this is actually a little intermediate. And yeah, so we can begin. Okay, so I have all my reference images here. The thing is, I don't have a vintage retro television, neither do I have like good blueprints of it. But that's the thing about it. We're not gonna be making something straight off a blueprint. All right, we're gonna be looking at several different reference images, and we're gonna be developing an idea from that. We're gonna be making our own TV by looking at all of these uh, reference images. All right. For a good solid start, I think one of these two is good. I'm gonna pick this one because I like this one more, and you can load that into Blender. Let me start this. Why the hell is this always going down? Yeah, that's good. Okay. I'm gonna go to the front view and I'm gonna import the image, alright, as a reference. You should have something called Vintage TV Scott Chamber. That's the image. I'm gonna take this all the way back along the y-axis. Oh, and by the way, if you're like in some random position and you import that image, here's what happens. The image will be facing you. So if you don't want that, one way to not have that happen is to actually go into the view that you want and to import the image, or to hit shift A, and while importing the image you can tick off this align to view, and that will just load it as a flat plane, and you can rotate it along the x-axis 90 degrees to have it in the front view. Okay, and I'm going to take this way back so that it doesn't disrupt our modeling. And while modeling, I don't want to accidentally move this like this. So to do that, I'm gonna disable selectability. So now I can't even select the object. If you don't have the selectability option, you can enable it from here, and if you enable it, it shows up over here. And as a last thing, I'm going to go into the image settings and turn down the opacity by 0.5 so that it's a little not as bright as it is. And I can disable it for perspective so that I don't have it in the perspective view, but that's optional. I might do it later. Okay, now we can actually start modeling. Oh jeez, it's really hot over here. Okay, I'm gonna add a cube because it resembles the shape of the TV, right? The TV is a cube. It's like a square. So I'm gonna add in a cube, and Alt Z to enable X-ray mode, and I'm gonna scale it up along the Z axis to match the television's dimensions, and also along the X axis. Let's focus on the Y axis later. For now, this should be enough. Once you get this right, hit Ctrl A on your keyboard and apply the scale, because fix your scale now, because we're not going to be changing it later, and later when we're doing bevels and insets and everything, we don't want the scale affecting it. Alright, so once this is fixed, we're not going to be changing it anymore. Okay, so now go into edit mode and select only the front face. You enable face selection mode by selecting face select over there, or 3 on your number panel, not your number pad, the number panel. So I'm going to select this face, and yeah, so I'm going to select that face and hit I on my keyboard to make an inset, and take it to up till up here. And you can see that in the television we have the bottom part of that border is kind of thick, So I'm going to go into edge select mode by pressing 2 on my number panel. I'm going to select that edge and take it up like this along the Z axis. Cool. Now the next thing is, if you look closely, you can see that this is not like flat over here. It's actually like an extrusion, all right? It goes, I mean, it's kind of a curve, all right? It goes in like this and comes out like this. So I'm gonna select this face, and yeah, I'm gonna make an inset over here and take it in along the y-axis. And I also think that this is kind of cool, having this small uh, taper over here. It's really cool. Jesus, I'm sweating. Yeah, it's actually super hot over here. The thing is, we don't have these spring kind of climates, weather. We don't have that. So it's either monsoon, winter, or summer. And for us here, summer has started, and it's getting hotter every day, and my air conditioner is not working, and I had to turn off my fan for the recording. So yeah, it's super hot, and it's gonna get even hotter next month, and May is probably the hottest. Not probably, May is the hottest, and I think I'm gonna become fried chicken by then. Anyways, coming back to our model, here this is where this model gets a little challenging. All right, so the television, this thing is let's just look at this rim. All right, you can see that this rim is kind of lower, and this rim is higher. All right, so we can't just, if you wanna, you can actually just make an inset and call it, yeah, I'm done with the rim. That's all. You can make another inset and say you're done with the rim. You can just continue modeling the TV there, but there's no challenge in that, and there's no realism in that, because these televisions, if you see here in the references, you can see that all of them have that thing. This television, the screens thing is always lower than the channels, the twister thing, and I don't know why, but apparently that's how these were made. So yeah, and we are making a super photorealistic one, so that's what we've got to do. So how do we do that is basically we have to divide this object into two, right? One part for the screen and the other part for the twister. And you can do that by adding in an edge loop. So I'm gonna hit Control R on my keyboard to bring up the edge loop, and if I click it, I add one, but if I move it, you can see that the angle of the edge loop kind of deviates, right? And we can correct that. Let's just bring it to where you want it to be, and the deviation is along the x-axis, right? So I'm gonna hit S, X, and 0 to kind of average it out. And now I can move this along the x-axis and place it exactly where I want that division line to be. Cool. And I'm just gonna add one more loop over here, same way, SX0, and I'm gonna bring this here, and now I have also divided the mesh into two, and also I have this empty space in the middle. Cool. Next we're gonna be doing the screen in this part, I guess. It's just insets and extrusions. The first part is basically an extrusion. It goes in and then goes in like this, and then goes in again, and then comes out like this, and then goes in again and comes, and then that's the screen. So yeah, this is the easy part. Now let's make an extrusion. Let's extrude it along the y-axis. Hold shift to fine tune it. If you don't hold shift, it goes too fast, but if you hold shift, it goes slow. So it goes smoother, so you can fine tune it about that much. And next is an inset till about here. It's the rim, and oh my god, what I do. Okay, and make sure the rim matches everywhere. Yeah, it doesn't have to match perfectly, it just has to match enough. Okay. Alright, I'm gonna make an inset again for the rim, and then I'm gonna make another extrusion over here, and this one goes a little deeper, and this one needs to be scaled down like this to match that. and you can see that this part is actually kind of curved, right? So you if you don't want that curve, you want to correct it with the subsurf, go ahead, be my guest, but that's a lot harder to do, to get it perfect. So it's better to have a good low poly model as close to your high poly um, shape in order to get things right. So just have these corners as your guides, just roughly align them with the corners, and add an edge loop like this in the middle. And this time the angle deviation is along the z-axis, so sz0. If you do this along the x-axis, you're gonna destroy the model, so make it as z0. And I'm gonna select this vertex and this vertex, and I'm just gonna scale it along the x-axis like this. It doesn't really match perfectly, but that is okay. It's honestly, it's okay. Just get it roughly right. And I'm gonna add one more over here because I want to get the shape perfectly right. Let's select all 4 of these vertices and scale them up along the x-axis, and scale them down. No, they're fine there. I'm gonna select the corner 4 vertices and scale them down along the z-axis like this, just to get them right. And yeah, you have to do it along the middle too. So I'm gonna add one loop over here, sx0, and select these 2 vertices and scale them up along the z-axis like this. Yeah, a lot like this, and that looks good, doesn't it? Yeah, it looks good. Cool. And here's the last inset, I guess. I can select it, right? Yeah, good. Here's the last inset. We're just gonna make one last inset over here like this, and it's thicker on the sides, so I'm gonna scale it down along the sides along the x-axis. And the last thing is to extrude it inside like that. And this is the last one, so actually go a little deeper, because when our screen comes over there, you will actually want it to be deep. And scale it down just so that you get that angle effect. There you go, you finished the screen part of the television. The next thing for us to do is the sides, and do we have the time for that? Yeah, we do have the time for that. We can finish this. Okay, so this is actually pretty easier than how it looks. All you have to do is, we've already made this, we already have this set. All we have to do is to select this, like this whole part, and just make an inset to make the rim like that. And this part we have to you can see that this, like this part, you can see that this whole part, it's kind of an extrusion inside, but we don't have a loop for that. So instead of adding a loop for that, let's save up on geometry. We can select this edge, and we can bring it down along the z-axis like this, to right about where this speaker vent thing ends. And now we can select both of these and extrude them in along the y-axis, just maybe this much, and scale it in. There you go, you've done that. That's how simple it is. And the one final thing for you to do with the front side modeling is that these rims, you see, right? These rims are not like fixed onto the face of the TV. They're actually they're a little bumped out, because they're set in separately, and they would be a little bumped on the outside. So we're gonna be selecting those rim edges. Just alt select to select the whole loop, and also this one, because we need both those rims to be equally extruded. So we're going to be selecting both of them. Hit E on your keyboard, and extrude them both along the y-axis just a little like that. And there you go, you have done that. So this is how your model should be looking. It's looking good. If you hit subsurf on your keyboard, it should look like this, which is perfect. Alright, so that's about it. So what's left for us to do is the screen, right? Okay. Let's delete all of these faces because we don't want them. And now you should have a hole in your TV like this, which is how it should look. Let's add in a plane. Let's add a plane over there, not a cube, plane. Rotate it 90 degrees along the x-axis. Go to the front view, and now we just have to scale the plane up in the x-axis and the z-axis to match the amount. And make sure you give some extra room for the plane, because we are going to be making the plane like curve, like how they curve on the old TVs. So yeah, do that. Press slash to enter local view because it would help. Apply the scale, and now what you have to do is basically it's a rectangle. We want all of the interior faces, we want it to be squares. So we're just going to be adding these loops to see how it becomes, where it becomes a square. I think 3 should do. Yeah, now they're more squared than rectangles. I think they're still rectangles. I mean, if you're so much into perfection like me, you can add 4 loops and 3 loops, 4 by 3. Now that makes good squares. Hit A and subdivide this like maybe 2 times. Yeah, that looks good. 2 times is good. Do we have to do, was 1 good enough? Actually 1 was good enough. Just subdivide it once, and let's select the center vertex, enable what is that thing called again? Proportional editing here. Because we want the curve to be perfect, right? We're going to change the mode to, let me see, sphere, I think. G, and scroll down to make it bigger. Yeah, it was sphere. Let's just bring it in front along the y-axis like this. Not too much actually, just this much is good enough. Yeah, that's good enough. And there you go, you have your screen shaded smooth, so that you don't have any of that. And I think I didn't do enough. Yeah, something like that. What is this? Yeah, that much, and I'll send it a little back. There you go. Alright, shaded smooth, and you can enable auto smooth if you wanna. Does not really matter for that apparently, but yeah, here you go, that's what it looks like. And there you go, oh my god, and there you go. Speaking of which, it's a good time to save your project. I'm gonna save this. Okay, so we are in 20 minutes, and I think I'll end this part. Let's do one thing. Let's add a subsurf modifier. In the next part, we will be adding the subsurf modifier. We'll be making those sharp edges. We'll be making the TV tight, and I think hopefully we will finish modeling the TV in the next part. So I will see you in that. Yeah. Oh, it's really hot, isn't it? Okay. Bye. I'll see you in the next one.